समझ नहीं आ रहा अपने सैलरी इंक्रीमेंट का क्या करूं।
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है, अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स के एसआईपी का टॉप अप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
क्या समझ में नहीं आया?
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है, अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स का एसआईपी टॉप अप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
आप समझा।
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Let's pull out and talk about our country. Now, in our country, where we pride ourselves on the vote being the most egalitarian, principle, and we've always had an equal vote for everybody since the inception of India as an independent nation. We are today in a fierce battle, a public battle. Hopefully, it's just a political battle and it'll end with election season. But we are seeing an unprecedented fight between the Election Commission and the leader of the opposition. Almost down to a sort of tu-tu me level, where Mr. Gyanesh Kumar had a very assertive, aggressive press conference, and Rahul Gandhi continues to use the word chor when he talks about the Election Commission and vote chori, theft of votes. How do you see this spat?
Well, politicians always resort to political rhetoric. And strong language, and from time immemorial, we also witnessed it. But we used to take it lightly because we did not take it too seriously because we say there's only.
So you would not rise to the bait.
Yeah, because to arouse public opinion, that is what they say. But at the same time, the Election Commission's response to the complaints of leader of opposition personally is not acceptable to me. Because he is not a man in the street, he is a leader of opposition of the country, the biggest democracy in the world. And he is representing the voice of millions of people. If he makes a complaint, the natural response would have been, look, we will examine it, we'll go make an inquiry and get back to you. Instead of saying, oh, you make the complaint and you have to give an affidavit and within 7 days. What if they turn around and say, look, we will accept your electoral roll, you give an affidavit that it is mistake-free. And if there is a mistake, you will own responsibility. So what is this affidavit business? Is very childish. And even the body language, your election commission has no business to look angry, at least publicly.
So you're saying when Mr. Gyanesh Kumar responded to Rahul Gandhi's press conference by saying, submit the affidavit or apologize,
yes,
he was out of line.
Yes, he was out of line, and in fact, his body language has not done him great favor. Let me tell you. In our time also, this topic, people criticizing the election commission used to come, and very many times the suggestion came that we should be given power of contempt of court. Specifically, even in my time, I said, no, we do not want contempt of court because we don't want to hide against this kind of a protective wall. We have enough backbone, we have enough moral courage. People have a right to criticize us on a daily basis, and we have a responsibility to answer them satisfactorily to their satisfaction and to satisfaction of the nation.
So what you're saying is that even if Mr. Gandhi's language has been intemperate in moments,
yes,
the Election Commission cannot talk like a politician.
Exactly. You summed it up very, very, very well. Yeah, because Election Commission has to carry everybody along. It is the Election Commission of India, not of a particular segment of...
What would you have done had you been Chief Election Commissioner when Rahul Gandhi, as leader of opposition, had the same press conference?
No, first of all, for the last 3-4 years, you notice that the opposition leaders seek appointment and they are not given an appointment. And you remember 2 years ago, 23 parties went to Supreme Court. Okay, look, we have been seeking appointment, we are not being given appointment. Not acceptable. Even every single politician at any time of the day, the doors were open to us. And in fact, I was more kind to the opposition. And let me remind you that the opposition then was BJP. Mr. Arun Jaitley, who was originally very hostile to me because of my proximity to Sushma Swaraj ji, and they were not on best of terms then. But when he saw me totally fair, if I took 5 minutes to take a Congress party's call, I will take 1 minute to give him an appointment. And so we could see that it was changing. To my previous book, which I mentioned, the endorsement which he has sent,
Yeah.
with a certificate that he gave, because he realized that we were very, very fair. And my own belief is that government is very powerful. They can get many things done. It is the opposition which is the underdog. And they need to be supported. We need to go out of the way. And I'll give you one interesting example of this attitude in action. Lalu ji out of power. One day he called me at 10:30 in the night. Quraishi साहब, tomorrow is counting. मेरी एक रिक्वेस्ट है, आप मेरे ये कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी में बैंकिंग एम्प्लॉयज़ जो हैं उनको ड्यूटी पे लगा दीजिए. मैंने कहा लालू जी इतने लेट नाइट में हमारे सारे इंतजाम तो तैयार हैं, सुबह 8 बजे काउंटिंग होगी. लेट मी ट्राई, आई कांट प्रॉमिस बट लेट मी ट्राई. But I immediately decided that I have not given him commitment, but I'm giving commitment to myself. I'll do it whatever it takes. I immediately called the CEO, do what you like, change from here and there, and do what you, and sure enough, the banking employee. So at least he would not be able to question the result that day. And next day evening, again at 11:30 at night, he called me. We had already obliged him the previous day. Quraishi Saab, in the election rallies, lakhs of people used to come. Now people are saying, and he was hesitant to use the word EVM. मैंने कहा लालू जी अगर आप EVM को ब्लेम करने जा रहे हैं तो मेरी एडवाइस है कि आप न कीजिएगा, क्योंकि आप हार तो गए, मजाक आपका और उड़ेगा. So after that he did not utter a word, because we used to go out of the way to win their confidence. So that importance probably has now been lost, and opposition is treated like dirt. That's not.
And one of the other arguments that Mr. Kumar made was about privacy of what he called mata aur behnon ki privacy violate ho rahi hai. With this emphasis on when the opposition was emphasizing CCTV and visual evidence. He said, no, we cannot have this violated. How do you respond to that?
It was very, very childish response, ridiculous response. And yesterday I saw a very interesting tweet. The Election Commission has released those photographs when 2 celebrity women are shown as voting. Now people being shown as voting, the Prime Minister is shown as casting the vote or pressing the button. It's a normal practice. And historically, I will tell you something important. Lal Danga, who was in revolt for a good 20 years, when he came back into a democracy fold, and when he came out to vote, there was a debate in the Election Commission, I was not there before me, whether we should allow photography inside. They consciously allowed photography inside because that photograph of Lal Danga voting became the biggest statement of democracy's success in the country. So now those people voting, how is it the encroachment on the privacy of our behno or betiyon?
What do you think of the debate?
Let me also complete this. One controversy came in our time from Chennai, Tamil Nadu. In Madurai, some Muslim ladies went to court. They said that we don't want to be photographed for voter ID card. And when it came to us, we said, look, we cannot exempt you from voter card. We need identity. And after discussion, we came to a compromise. We said, look, the electronic version, digital role will be given to political parties without the photograph, because photograph digitally can be morphed. But the printed copy will have their picture, because they are only postage stamp size. They cannot be nothing can be done about them. So that was accepted by the High Court of Madras, and it is still valid till today. So the privacy and what privacy?
Now everybody knows, or at least I know, that when the opposition earlier used to crib about EVMs, you never bought into that. You have always believed that the EVM is a fail-proof system of casting votes. But on this allegation or concerns about whether rolls can be manipulated, what is your take?
Interestingly, I wrote an obituary of Jagdeep Chokar for New Indian Express really yesterday. And very recently he told me, and then repeated it 2 or 3 times. He says, for the last 15 years, he says, I've been quoting you one sentence when you said the Election Commission's soft underbelly is the electoral roll. That is our biggest weakness that we should focus on. And many leaders come to me all the time from all parties, and then I used to say, when they used to come criticizing the EVM, I said, you are barking up a wrong tree. You're wasting your time. Election EVM is totally dependable. Forget about it. Focus on electoral roll. Keep a watch, because election can be won and lost a year before the election through manipulation.
And it's important to say that it can impact all parties.
Yes, of course, they all do it. And in fact, this issue had come even in the time when I was in the Election Commission, and Mr. Gopalaswamy was the CEC. He is a brilliant man, and we were going for a UP election, and where there were complaints and possibilities that there will be lots of bogus voters. So instead of giving this order that any suspected person just delete them, no, we went door to door and we made separate list of the acronym we used was SAD, shifted, absent and dead voters. We made a list, long list. And what we did was, instead of deleting them, because they were all dead or shifted and absent, normally they deserve to be deleted, but they may not be dead. They may suddenly appear from somewhere. So even one person coming up this way will be a reflection on our efficiency. So we made separate lists and gave it to every presiding officer. Apart from the normal electoral roll, from this list, if somebody comes, ठोक बजा के इनकी identity लेना. And only about 3% people came from that list. So nobody was deleted, but and in fact one very important political leader told me कि कुरैशी साहब, हमने तो इतनी बोगस वोटिंग की तैयारी करने दी, तुमने एक को नहीं हमारे बोगस वोटर को घुसने दिया. Because we had other ways of controlling this. And also this intensive role.
I was just going to come to that therefore on this SIR, special intensive revision, obviously you're not going to say that the roles should not be revised. The roles will have to be periodically revised.
Yes.
But do you agree with the timing?
No, timing apart, even the concept of intensive role, the intensive role is nowhere mentioned in the constitution or the law, because it's the discretion of the Election Commission.
Right.
It has been doing intensive role. Some intensive revision was done even in our time in some northeastern state. But at the same time, you must remember that the electoral roll has now been digitized, and about 99% of the Indians are on the voter roll after an effort of 30 years. 97 or 98% have got voter ID card after a 30-year effort. So what we did in 30 years, and you think you will do it in 30 days, you're living in, I don't know in what world. So now what we had decided over a period of time, 2003 was the last intensive roll in Bihar, that now that we have a digital roll available and they have a photo card, so we don't have to go intensive, because the intensive roll, you know what it means? The existing roll will go into the dustbin, and ab initio everyone will be found. Now what took us 30 years to put everybody on the roll, now doing it in 30 days is almost impossible. What we had decided, and we have practiced all these 20 years, that we will do summary revision. And what is summary revision? 99% people are already on the roll. We'll again come door to door. We'll come to your house, Barkha, this is a roll, and in your family we see 5 voters last year. Tell us, in this year, has there been any addition? Somebody has become 18, or somebody has come from outside to live here, or somebody has gone out, or whatever, and we update it. This is how we verify. It has been working beautifully. Same role from which this 2024 general elections were held and this current government was formed were valid yesterday and invalid today. In January of this year, the same voter rolls were valid, and suddenly they become invalid. And there is, we have been talking of Nepal. After my article in the Indian Express, somebody, the former ambassador to Nepal, wrote to me a very shocking letter. He says, sir, you don't realize a very serious implication that since we have an open border with Nepal, so all the time the millions of Indians are traveling earlier with Aadhaar card and photo card and passport. I have traveled to Nepal every time with a voter card. Now, earlier when Aadhaar became controversial, they banned it. Now that EPIC has been declared invalid by our own election commission, Nepal will be fully justified in saying that we will not accept EPIC anymore. Bring your passport. And how many people in UP, Bihar and Uttarakhand will have passport? Not even 0.5%. So what inconvenience, unconscious, unwitting, it's surely not
intentional.
But it should have been thought through. These big measures have to be taken with the great consultation Because that is the problem when you don't consult and you think you know everything and suddenly you think you will do it. So I have written in my book that I used to think I'm the brightest man, but my two colleagues always were moderating me and were giving a viewpoint and which made me appear